Thomas and the Children. Have you ever heard of Thomas the Tank Engine? Well, I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, here's the main summary of the show. A blue engine named Thomas goes on adventures with his friends Percy, James, Gordon, Edward, Henry, Toby, Emily, and all the other engines on the island of Sodor. The show started up in 1984. The original series ended in 2020, stopped airing in 2021, and now there's a reboot of it, which I'm not going to talk about today. Anyway, let's stop messing around and get to the story. The main story. Yeah, sorry for wasting your time, lol. My son adored Thomas so much that he could name every single train, know what color they were, and the number they had painted on them. I was glad when I heard he was coming to visit me over the summer, but I had a lot of work to do, so I bought him a Thomas DVD. The cover looked innocent enough. Thomas was smiling, and the little children were waving out the windows in his coaches. The DVD was called Thomas and the Children. He was so excited to see it that right off the bat, he pleaded me to put it into the DVD player. I went to work while he watched it. A few minutes later, he came into my office, looking as pale as a sheet. "Daddy," his voice seemed weak. "Are you okay?" I asked. I touched his head and noticed his temperature had gone up. "Why did Thomas hurt the children?" he asked. My heart sank like a stone, but I just shrugged it off. "I'm sure Thomas didn't hurt the children. Now you need some rest and some medicine." I gently pushed him to bed. "Come on." After putting him to bed, I got curious as to what he had seen. I popped the disc in and it started. It started with only static, with only the bridge scene in the Season 1 to 7 intro being visible. I presumed this was a Season 1 episode. After what seemed like 30 seconds, the episode started. It sounded off normal, so Topham Hatt was telling Thomas to take a group of children to the seaside. I noticed something was wrong. No narrator in the episode. That made me sad. No Michelangelos, I thought to myself. It then showed a scene of Thomas arriving at the station and all the children born in the coaches. Then showed him zooming down the rails like usual. The children in the coaches were cheering. Then there was trouble, as they usually say in the show. Bertie the bus was stuck on the tracks, waiting for someone to help. This is when the episode got strange. Bertie stared at Thomas in fear, but Thomas just smiled and sped up. What was more menacing was that he started laughing evilly. The children were now crying, with tears going down their eyes. Thomas smashed straight into Bertie, causing pieces of them to fly everywhere. It was by then the narrator would usually say, "Luckily, no one was hurt," but there was no reassurance for the kids. The episode then showed what happened inside the coaches. What looked like actual blood had splattered everywhere. The little wooden children were still crying, with tears still painted onto their eyes. Everything went to static. After that, I found myself boiling with anger. What kind of sicko would make this kind of stuff for little kids? Then I paused the static. Then messages started to appear, saying kill, obey, multiply, and die. I watched the static, and 30 different messages popped up. The last one being R.I.P. Thomas, which meant rest in peace, Thomas. I took the disc out, broke it in half, and threw it into the trash. I would not expose my son to any more of that garbage. Before going to bed myself, I checked to see how he was doing. He was happily sleeping, clutching his teddy. I then went to bed. I had a nightmare where the children from the episode, which were about the same life size of me, just a tad taller, came into my room and broke off all my limbs one by one, laughing. I watched them as they did that while I heard that blasted train laughing. Then I woke up, covered in blood somehow. I then I opened it, there was a Trackmaster Thomas with children painted onto it. Of course, I just destroyed it. The poor plastic toy, too.